It's like, it's such a different world.
What do you
Here I am, but like, for example, this morning I've been working a few hours on what kind of electricity cable we will use
for?
in one of our installations. Yeah, it's like a solar panel on a pole, and then we need a cable.
Yeah.
Cable, we have like a hinge in the construction, so it needs to be able to bend.
Okay. I have no idea what you're
Yes.
doing normally. You know that, right? Hi, Christiana. Good morning.
I know. I don't know how to explain. Hi, Christiana.
We cannot hear you or see you, Christiana. You're muted.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
It's a little too hot in here in Greece. Hi.
How are you, my dear? Hello, Dimitri.
I'm a little hot, you guys. It's 30 degrees.
No, it's not that bad. Dimitris, you're muted also. We cannot hear you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Here I am. Good morning. What's
Hello,
what's going on
hello.
here?
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello.
Small meeting. I thought we would talk about the financial plan, but I have been a little bit mind blown today, so I'll take you into the ride with me before we end up in the financial plan.
Oh,
Financial plan about what?
About the conscious gen structure in theory, but it's as always is going further and connects many dots, and I think you would like to hear it also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi guys, good morning from Turkey.
Good morning.
So both Christian
So
and
how
Dimitris
about
are
if we introduce ourselves so we get to know each other very fast?
Please.
I am Christiana Gardichiotti. I am speaking to you from Paralio Astros, near Sparta, about 55 kilometers, 60 kilometers away from Sparta, and just across from Nafplion. I do have this, I do have this vision of transforming Mount Parnonas to nature's first factory. So that's my shift for both the people that live here and the people who are going to join us. I like people to work in and for nature. In order to change this or to realize this mind shift, I cannot do it alone. I need to have help. People here are very old-fashioned, inelastic, profit-oriented. Let's destroy everything if we make. So I am up for making a new regenerative society. I think, and my company, it's a personal company, and it's personal because I want it fast. I want it fully controlled for the time being in order to make the team and to battle the Greek bureaucracy. But I am going to leave you with this. If I do it alone, I will go nowhere. If I have the help of other people, and let me tell you that I have created a very extensive global network, then I go places and we are going to experience a difference. So, in that framework, it's all yours.
Thank you, Christiana. So Christiana I met very recently, and has taken upon an interesting location in Greece, wanted to regenerate a whole village, actually, one of the ones that are abandoned. And she has been in really, really interesting projects, merging, let's say, all the new technology in a way of how nature works and how we can merge with local products. And yeah, it's super interesting what they're doing. And so I sent her the plan that we will see later, and we got in a very good contact. So I'm looking forward to see more today, what will come up.
Aliki, I cannot hear you very well. I hear you με διακοπές. So
Really?
can you please put yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries. Can you hear me better? I don't know what to do.
Much better,
Good for
yes.
me.
Okay, cool. Dimitrios, you want to take it on you?
Sure. Hi, my name is Dimitrios. I'm the founder of the project called The Music Medicine. It's a project that I'm developing the last 4 years, and my main intention is to awake musicality and creativity in individuals and groups and spaces, and to bring harmony and joy through the medicine of music, but also to educate people about the importance of sound and of music. That's the tip of the iceberg of what I'm doing. Actually, I have 30 years of experience of bringing people together in celebration, starting from Greece, continuing in Brazil, and then all around the world, and currently in Turkey, where I'm based. 21 years experience as a DJ, traveling the world and making people dance. 4 or 5 years as a music therapist and as a musician, and 3 years of conductor of improvisational circles of world musicians. I have had a revelation back in 2014 when I was living in Brazil, when I got in contact with indigenous people and their school of thought and the way they're using music and circles and ceremonies and plants to awaken creativity, to heal the bodies, the energetic bodies, the physical bodies. And ever since, my spiritual path has started, and I have joined a lot of great variety of spiritual practices to try to have a holistic understanding of an approach in order to heal mind, heart, body, and energy in people. And I'm a connector. I bring people together. I have a vast network of musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, people that they do really cool projects related to permaculture, sustainability, community building, indigenous leaders from around the world. And I'm currently putting a project together that is called Love, Peace, Harmony Festival, which is actually an initiative inspired by an ancient, by a Chinese healing song that I'm planning to recompose and to bring it forward to people, and to gather people from all around the world to sing this song, because it works in the physical and the energetic body. It corresponds to the lower abdomens, but behind that, it's actually my intention to support the new educational system. And Christiana, thank you for mentioning this and for having this direction. I realized the recent 2 years that the biggest problem of humanity is in education. So because the current educational system is broken, it teaches us nothing essential of what is essential for sustainable living, for understanding of our purpose as humans, and of our how to relate with each other, how to relate with Earth, how to relate with cosmos. Starting with our own body, because we don't have understanding of our own body. So without our body, we don't have experience of life. So I start to see certain things that they're not in the current curriculum around the world, and I start mapping 17 sectors that are considered essential for sustainable living and understanding of earthly life, of community building, etc., etc. So I'm building this project to actually support a new foundation that is happening as we're speaking, of certain people from around the world, that we are actually trying to create a new educational system and to awaken people's consciousness and awareness towards a more sustainable life, a more respectful life towards the earth and the natural and the cosmic laws that we are bound into. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So with Dimitrios, we met this year in Davos, and I kind of consider him a brother. Every time I see more and more similar steps, sometimes way too similar, even in family lines, and where we are right now and realizations, they just come at the same time, even though we're not in contact all the time. And yet 2 days ago, we had a very interesting discussion because we're both feeling the needs of some sacred circles happening towards the end of the month. From my side, like feminine circles, from Dimitri's side, masculine circles. And we're just trying to decode what we're receiving. And by that, a whole conversation started that you will see later on how it got attached to the financial structure that we were supposed to be discussing today. It's super interesting. Bart?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Bart. So good to be here and hear all of your stories. Yeah, what am I going to tell? I have a background in technology, high-tech engineering, mechatronics, robotics, but I kind of derailed from that path. 1.5 years ago, I decided to go into unknown territory, start my own business. Already kind of quit that, and since last December, I really allowed myself to work on the things that I'm interested in, like personal growth, spirituality, bringing ideas to life, really exploring what it takes to manifest and to create. And yeah, on that path, in March, I've met a few people that had similar visions and missions for the world and what to create. And we all felt the need to create a place, a digital home for all the people that are working on a better world, a more conscious and harmonious world, and to connect them and unite them and create momentum, because everybody is still working very fragmented. And yeah, things are kind of becoming physical now. We launched the first version of the platform. It's called GaiaNet, by the way. And yeah, along this journey, we meet people like Aliki that is working on a very inspiring project. And so we try to find ways to create fertile ground for these projects to flourish even more and to connect them with other initiatives that are aligned. And yeah, I'm very curious to where this project currently is and where it's going and how I can serve in making this a reality, which it already is, but I mean, it's continuously evolving. Yeah.
Thank you, Bart. So Bart is one, as I call him, is like one of the family member initiatives. There are some people around that we're just working on the same line, and it has been an amazing sharing, even though maybe our projects right now or before, they were not exactly in the same spot. For some reason, there was a very sincere and open sharing. So I kind of feel that we're creating this grade of trust for wherever each one of us is. And I sent him the financial plan also the other day, and we didn't have the time to discuss. And now I know why, because I couldn't have told you so much. So now I know more, and that's why we're talking today. And Julian, you're on the go, but can you talk maybe? Julian? You're muted, by the way. You have to unmute your mic if you're talking to us. No. Julian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Give me another 10 minutes, then I can speak. I'm just...
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Arslan, we want to take the lead and tell a little bit more about our collaboration and where you are right now, if you unmute your mic.
Yes, first of all, hello everyone. I hope you all are doing good. And this is me, Arslan. So basically, I'm working with Aliki for last 5 months now.
Wow.
So yeah. So my background is also in IT. I'm basically from Pakistan, and yeah, that's a bit about me. And yeah, we're working on the same project with Aliki. And I was to join Aliki in Paris for that permaculture and other stuff, but unfortunately I didn't get the visa due to this COVID situation, so I couldn't join. But I'm virtually connected with all of you guys. Yeah.
So Arslan has been an immense help during these months to make the first camp happening. And also it's very, very interesting because he remains connected to us, even though we had to stop for the last month. He's literally on the same line from his own position. So it was extremely interesting to talk to him like last week after a month and a half and see that he has received the same vibration from very different spots. So it feels that we are still moving together, and I was very happy to see that. I will let Julian just take the microphone whenever he's ready to talk, and just go and tell you a little bit more about what has been happening today, because I have been literally mind blown. Like yesterday, we're in a very interesting meditation that we do every week. During the meditation, I was seeing a very interesting symbol. I was actually, I don't know if any of you know, I'm just going to try to share screen. Give me a second. Conscious Gems, as you know, it's a project that right now I feel it's creating my path and I'm creating its path at the same time. It's kind of like an entity in a way. And until yesterday, give me a second, let's see that. Try it through the story. So until yesterday, our logo has been, I don't know if you can see the screen already. Can you see the screen?
No, we cannot.
Almost. Yes.
No, oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So until yesterday, the logo has been this one. And just to tell you a little bit why I'm showing that, because this one was representing two circles. And the first circle where the plant is representing the consciousness that is being infused into the right circle and creating the conscious gems. So that was the idea behind that. The funny part is that yesterday during the meditation we do usually on Thursdays, that we were doing with Demetrius at some point also together, this logo started changing and I was not really sure why, and I will guide you through that. So yesterday during the meditation I started saying this symbol and I started seeing the two circles practically merging. So the two circles are coming together, and with the pressure that is being created between the two circles, this creates the heat for the gems to be created. Funnily enough, this is actually the way the actual diamonds, the actual gems are being created in nature, because I went and searched of how are actually diamonds being created, because we have quite a lot of different things that we know about them, but apparently these are the three ways that the gems are being created. So it's always by pressure and heat, practically. It's either by tectonic plates that are moving and then creating heat, it's either with a lot of pressure of the years and the layers of soil, or is by meteorite fall and the asteroid impact that is being created there. Why this is interesting? Because I used to, I drive this project with download and signals and signs moving forward. I don't consider that to be my project. I consider that something that needs to be created and I'm just receiving information. And the conscious gems for me, it represents both the people and the places around the world that have this ability of supporting our conscious level to move forward in the direction that needs to be moved. So that's why that start was very interesting. And at the parallel level of this information being coming yesterday into my awareness. As we have been studying permaculture, I really feel that permaculture is really a design system that can be applied in any type of regenerative systems. And I have been feeling that our businesses until now are actually not a regenerative system. So they're not creating closed cycles that can create themselves again. They're kind of just consuming and then falling apart. So I have been feeling that we need to start translating the principles of nature into principles of business if we want to create systems that can support themselves. Having said that, today in the morning, I went through my notes of our permaculture course we did like a month ago or something. And I was putting down all the elements that the system needs to be able to be an enriched system, a regenerative system. Some of the most interesting parts that are very, very important, actually, it's the soil. It's almost the most important thing in a regenerative system. Like everything else, it can be supported from the soil. And the three basic elements that are the ones who are needed for plant to be supported is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And as like my mind is always a little bit like in the research, and I love researching and understanding further what that means, I went through to see a little bit what nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium have as what are their characteristics, like how these three elements work, right? And then was the real like, okay. So apparently, just researching like very, very easily. You see the text in front of you, right now? It says nitrogen, etc. So researching a little bit about nitrogen, I went down and understanding that it's a mineral, let's say. I don't know if it's supposed to be called mineral anyway, or a metal, that when it burns, it creates a brilliant yellow light. And that very automatically, and the way it's being called until now, it just automatically brought my awareness into the characteristics of the yang. The yellow light has always been representing the sun, and this is really is representing the yang element. Moving forward and seeing if that has anything to do about what I'm thinking about, I went down to phosphorus. And the phosphorus actually has been named after the name Phosphorus, which is Greek, which means the morning star, and it's representing the Venus. Just going a little bit further to see if potassium has anything to do about that, which is the third element that needs for the creation of a rich soil. I come down into a lilac colored flame that is highly reactive and actually is being created by nuclear fusion, not by burning. All of that together, if you put it with what was coming before into my awareness, is literally two different poles, the yang and the yin, coming together and with nuclear fusion, creating something new, creating life, practically, right? Creating what we need to support a system. And I know that this can be very far, but for me, it was like extremely interesting to observe that in the download yesterday, what I was saying was in this merge, in this line of merging. Let me show you this, maybe you understand better. So that's what practically I said yesterday. It was super interesting. And in this merge, right in the center, was the Merkaba star. And the Merkaba star, as we know, it represents practically energy. It's like the energetic field around any organism and the life form. And putting all that together, for me at least, and I'm very glad that you are listening, and I would love to hear your opinion, because I'm not saying something as a fact. I'm just presenting you like a journey that I have been taking through science and science at the same time today. And I would love us to decode it all together, because I feel that there is something interesting and important there. So putting all of this together, I feel that we can end up with a system that can be used as a guideline for the structure that is practically the financial system that some of you have received into text. I think all of you actually. So the whole idea is like, how do we take what is coming into awareness and put it in a system that can support all of us, can support the different initiatives, and can regenerate itself to create life. I mean, in the end, that's the system that we want, all of us, we want to create, each one of us from their own position, right? So that's a very like broad overview, and all this comes down into this, the awareness that the structure that me or us as conscious gems, what we are supposed to bring into life, it's not physical locations as Christiana have, for example, is not a platform as Bart is working on, is not festivals or sacred ceremonies as music medicine and Demetrius is bringing into life, but it's practically the structure that can hold all these parts and support them. So I see it as the soil practically. And that's why all of this study like around the soil, what would the soil be important? And I would love to hear your opinions. I would love to hear what's coming up through all of that journey, because then I think we can go deeper into details, but I would love to hear what you're receiving from all of that.
This is sex.
Let's call it love.
No, I call it sex.
Okay.
It is alchemy, darling. It's the fusion of the masculine and the feminine that brings forward a third part. It's exactly what alchemy has been saying. It's I told you before, study Hermetism. It's all there also. It makes total sense to me. I had no awareness actually about this, the whole process that is going under the soil and about all these elements coming together. And I'm happy that you're coming into this realization that you are actually the fertile soil where all these people, all these projects will come together. Yet I don't see the system. Where is the system?
I will go and explain the model after. I will go and explain the model after, because the model still needs a little bit of, I mean, the original idea is there, but it still needs to work on it so it becomes much more rich, let's say.
Yeah. Well, it makes total sense. It's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing, actually. I mean, I had no idea about this, these processes, and it all comes down to it all comes down to the same truths, actually. No matter which angle we take it from, microcosm, microcosm, what's happening on Earth, what's happening in the planets, it's deep down to the bottom. They all come to the same truth, and they all come to the truths of polarities and to the fusion between the two and what is created, resonance, dissonance, why dissonance is important to justify the resonance, harmony or distortion. It's all the same language, but it's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. That's what I have to say for now.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, it is utterly interesting, but I do have a totally different suggestion.
Please.
If I had to explain to a yaya in my village or a 6-year-old when we do those circles of me explaining to the kids what we are all about. Can we have it simplified so we can, because this is complicated and this is for us.
Yeah, totally.
If we take it to the people, to the actual people, or if I had to explain it to my mom, I'm in this business. Could we have a simpler representation? Very basic, just asking.
Absolutely. Are you thinking of something? Are you thinking of a way? This is one of the things, like my mind tends to put way too many parts in between, inside. So if you can help me simplify that would be amazing, because that is really not my strong part, the simplification. Like I can simplify, I can understand pieces, but for me, like the whole thing makes makes sense altogether. Actually, you know who is amazing in that? Rehan is amazing in that. That brought us also in contact. So maybe maybe both of you can help me to make that a 6-year-old can understand it, because it's important.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Please.
So in the beginning, you were talking about the heat and pressure part of creating diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see that integrate in the story about the soil? So the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. How does it relate? Is there a link?
So I have to go deeper into how the three elements are being merged through the bacteria and the fungi and transferred to the plants, right? Because as far as I know, but I was saying the three nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium as elements, right? Not exactly as they work inside the soil. I have to go deeper there actually, because I didn't really have the time to go deeper there. But it was just very interesting that their way of interacting, at least in a lab, it's very similar with the image that was coming with the fusion and the pressure that creates something new. But I have to see actually how it's happening in the soil.
Yeah, because there's also a lot of carbon involved in the soil.
And that is the interesting part about the carbon. Both the diamond and the graphite have exactly the same composition, but the way they have been pressured creates an either extremely soft or extremely strong formation. Which for me, it's like really, really, really interesting. Kind of means that according to our processes, we can end up creating something precious or not. And it's exactly the same matter, the same like or original matter. It really depends of how the process is being done for the outcome, which is very interesting, like allegorically of our ceremonies and our structures and everything that we do, right?
Exactly. And it's funny, I see this thing like the fertile soil. It's something that I see coming along many times. We also use it as an analogy, and I feel that it's very important to understand what it means to be fertile soil.
So
that's why I think it's very interesting.
One of the things that for me was really interesting during the permaculture was to realize how we have distorted the natural processes to create dependency practically. So what is happening in the modern agriculture is that instead of enriching the soil, we are putting nutrients that go directly to the plants. So we are degrading the soil and we are feeding the plants directly, but the plants, if you stop feeding them, they will die. So practically they create a system that you have to buy all the time fertilizers in order to have any type of plantation. In permaculture, what they do is they enrich the soil so the soil can support all types of life forms. And then the more you enrich the soil, the less you need to do anything on it. Like permaculture starts with a lot of design and work, but like over the years, it just becomes easier and easier because the natural cycles take over and they do what they do. Like nature works without us watering it and fertilizing it, right? So that's the interesting part, that you kind of have to pre-invest in the soil and like mulch it a lot and create the conditions for it to be healthy so it can support the systems, plants, the microorganisms, the bacteria, the fungi, etc. A very, very interesting part actually, it's the bacteria and the fungi. And I think that down there is practically where our roles is, like the fungi is literally like a network, right?
Yes.
Transporting, it's decomposing and transporting materials according to the type of the fungi. And then the bacteria are the ones actually that they eat the nitrogen and they take it out in a way that the plants can absorb it. So the plants could use it if there were not the bacteria there. Or they could use it like much less, actually. Probably there is one part that they can use.
Yes.
So I feel that us, like we are kind of like the bacteria and the fungi working on the soil and creating these conditions for growth.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you also have the decomposers that decompose all the dead material, make it available as nutrients. I think the bacteria do that as well. Yes.
And the fungi also.
I think it's the appropriate time for me to ask the group here, have you seen the film, A Fantastic Fungi?
No, I haven't yet, but I have heard about it. It's a good reminder.
Yes,
I think I got it suggested as well.
Yeah, if you want to see it only once, it costs maybe €4. If you want to have it and see and having access to it on a permanent base, then it's €14. Personally, because I have seen it 6 times, I think that I paid, €14 for something that I was really made aware. I did not know, and I appreciated the artwork, the filming, all the hard work that went into the project. So I am suggesting to the team to go and see it. It's worth it. Don't think about the money. If the money is the problem, €4. If not, buy it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I will.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Because I think it can really kind of start showing us what is our role also, in a way.
Yeah. Yes.
And was it that the inspiration of the project you did, Christiana, with the fungi on the olive tree branches, or was it after?
No, actually, no. I had contacted Ivanka. It's called Eco Fungi System. Just 1 second. System Eco Fungi in Serbia. She is part of the organization. This organization, the ZERI organization. ZERI stands for Zero Emissions Research Initiatives. And it brings together science, arts, technology, and most important, entrepreneurship. So maybe you would like to go see what ZERI stands for. They have done more than 120 projects around the globe. They're very much application oriented. So when we talked about the mushrooms growing on olive branches, we went to a ZERI expert, Ivanka Milenkovic. She is in Belgrade, and she gave us the know-how. Actually, she told us that it can be done in olive branches because she took about 2 to 3 months in her laboratory growing the mushrooms and coming up with results. So we knew that we were going to have mushrooms if we put them on olive branches. And Lord and behold, when we got the results back from the laboratory, I went into a walk inside the woods, and guess what? I saw it in its natural form, the mushroom, the oyster mushroom on top of an olive branch. So I had it both ways. If you put oyster mushrooms in olives or olive trees, you get mushrooms growing on olive branches. Simple
surprise, surprise.
Wow.
Surprise, surprise. So
Surprise, surprise.
we are imitating nature. And now we can take it a level up, which is industrial production. For the time being, we only have a pilot production. We do not have industrial production. But we are trying to get people to get into the set of mind that you research nature you start with renewable resources, you produce income from different sources, but then your waste becomes the first raw material of somebody else, like in a forest. So you have no waste when you finish with this. So it's not just growing the mushrooms, it's the philosophy of a regenerative frame of mind that we are trying to educate people with in our neck of the woods.
Thank you. What I love
So
about
fantastic fungi came a year and a half later from all this, but I was looking after the fungi part, and I became part of the fungi community around the globe. So complementary.
Συγχαρητήρια.
Just for your Bart, for your information also, we don't call them mushrooms. Our project is called art shrooms.
Art shrooms.
Art shrooms, because we are proposing to have income out of making the mushrooms inside, for example, galleries, art galleries, useful objects inside the house, like decorative. Also, if we can have lamps made out of mycelium. Also, we sing the mushrooms. Also, we present a theater that is based on regenerative and on mushrooms and what do mushrooms do. And we have also created mushroom characters. So our idiot mayor is, you know, the Dracumel kind of character, and he's mushroom-like, right? So he's talking about this, all things that he doesn't like, and then there is, you know, the grandma that is talking to the kids, and she's an older mushroom. Okay, so you can do millions of things with mushrooms. You can do science, but you certainly can make arts. So our project is called Art Shrooms, not just mushrooms.
I love it. What I love about Christiana is that they actually do these things, you know, like she doesn't just talk about them, and it's one of the really few that I have met that she has actually even pilot projects. She has been like collaborating with MIT already. It's just like, it's just amazing.
I'm inspired, man.
Yes,
I'm inspired, man.
Before we go on, I just want you to know one thing, please. Just bear with me, okay? I discovered the microscope at age 58. It took me all this white hair to get to the microscope. And I discovered, you see, I went to a school with a rhizome association, because our person, Dr. Pauli Gunter, he's really on our case on, you guys, it's nice to talk about things, but you go apply. Never mind talk about it. You gotta go and do stuff, or otherwise forget it. It's going to be too many meetings, it's going to, never mind, go do it. So, I know nothing about biology. I was not good at school. I have not seen a microscope in my entire life. So I found a course paid by the European Union. And for 3 weeks, I was in Croatia, inside the university, taking a course for idiots, that's me, in biology. And of course, we did a lot of art in that course, okay? It's just not only biology, it's art as well. So all of a sudden, we go to the Split Sea and we take a little, that tiny a container of seawater. So I put it in the glass under the microscope, and I look, and I discover plankton, like life. They were moving, they were flashing, and I'm going, shit. that was my, and I thought, my God, if I can just have one room, one microscope, 10 kids going into the sea, like simple things, right? Get 3 drops of seawater and looking at it, they have discovered the world. I don't need any more. And of course, I met a person. Now, I'm going to go into the second part. I applied for MIT Global Bio Summit, which means that 340 people, that their life is all about science and microscopes and what have you, and community, engaging people in their own communities. They have a summit in MIT. And guess what? I am now connected to 340 laboratories that we are working together to get citizens engaged in sciences. That's where Aliki, I learned about permaculture, about organic soil, about what is it that you can do with soil so you can battle climate change, mitigation of climate, all kinds of adversities. But what I am really thrilled about is the fact that in Bio Summit, we have a whole artistic section that we bring together the microscopes, the sciences, and the arts. By the way, I'm a graduate of theater. So to me, yes, science, I am at awe, but if it's not artistic, I'm not interested as a person. Because my life is all about drama, theater, performance, curation of your soul. Come on, give it to me. I love science, but you know, has to be sung. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Christiana. Yeah, I mean, we cannot really exclude art from anything. If we do, there's something will go wrong.
Ladies and gents, I have to leave. I have to start my day here.
Okay.
But I want to give my gratitude, first of all, to you, Aliki, for putting us in this labyrinth of thoughts and ideas and concepts and realizations. I think you are the labyrinth and you are the key to the labyrinth also.
It's always double phase,
at the same
right?
time. Yes, of course.
She's going to have Aliki Ariadne, you know, giving us the little thread that we can go and discover the labyrinth.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
the mushrooms that we can make you discover.
We need some magic mushrooms.
I think that's
you know?
more my element.
Yes.
And funnily enough, tomorrow we're going to pick up mushrooms here in Berlin. Very funnily enough. So I will actually try to see the movie today so I can understand a little bit more about how it works. For the ones who still have like 10 minutes, I would like to just very fast. Dimitris, if you have to go, it's totally fine.
If it's 10 minutes, I'm in. If it's more, I'm out.
I would just like to connect to what we talked, the initial financial plan that has come down, because it does have a lot of relation, like super fast.
You got my interest. Let's go.
I feel that it's not there yet, so we can really like say that it's ready, but we can start seeing the connections, start working on it, so it starts developing. So the initial idea is the same, like we have to create the soil that can support all of us. And instead of supporting directly the projects, support and reinvest in the soil. And as we all know very well, it's like if you don't really invest in what you believe in, nothing will grow out of it. So we are all in this phase, we're all investing our personal time, money, energy, everything into what we believe that needs to be created right now. And we all see the same thing coming up, which is a grid of regenerative projects and destinations, right? And locations and people, of course. So what I was realizing is that we have to create a structure that can both support us with financial and non-financial resources. Because the easiest way, if we go back into just creating more money, it's extremely difficult to support the project. It kind of feels like we're using fertilizers to support the projects when they need different types of resources and financial also, right? So what I was realizing is that we have already been in a moment in time that there are very strong bonds of trust being created between different initiatives and people, like the ones that we are here right now, that I don't mind saying everything that comes into my awareness because I know that it's just a key for you. And upon that, we can build into a system that is based on trust, but also creates the flux of resources. So what I was realizing for the financial plan for the global village, it's practically seeing the two parts that are coming into the puzzle. And one part is like Christiana, so they have the physical locations, they have places that need regeneration, and they have land. And this is one type of owners. It's the owners, I call them nodes because they're in specific locations on the map. And then the second part is like Demetrius, myself, for example, and Julian and Ruslan, that we are the nomads, and the ones who are creating all these connections. And they have always been doing that in their lives. It's just in our field. It has never been put together somewhere. And this is where BART is coming, what they're creating, this network of people that is connected between them. And what I was saying is that instead of going and supporting specific people or specific projects, we have to zoom out, because as always, when you zoom out, the problem is much more easily solved. When you zoom in, you just cannot find any solution. It's like always the same. So zooming out and seeing the whole grid of people and locations, we practically see that there are all the resources because it's an ecosystem, and automatically we'll have everything when you zoom out. When you zoom in, you might be missing something, right? But when you zoom out, there is everything because there is always everything in the system. It's impossible to have a system without having all types of resources inside of it. And the more people are added to that, the more diversity is being added, the more stability is being added, of course. So the idea is zooming out, creating this grid of people and destinations and matching them accordingly so that people can go to the places that need their abilities. The places can support them by having them in their physical space, and the people can support the locations by the abilities and the networks that they have. Taking down into my very strong belief that we need to step out of a trading and exchange system, and we are ready to step into a gift economy system. I'm taking out the exchange. So it's not, you don't exchange your knowledge for 5 nights in a specific space. We don't get involved in what is going to be exchanged. The connection's been done, and then everything that feels that it needs to be exchanged. I will not tell Christiana how many nights she will host somebody, because she can feel like having a person for 2 years there because they're creating a whole new type of mushroom, or for 3 nights because it's just to get to know one more person, and then this didn't work. So all of us go and support the structure, we don't exchange things. And this is very important, because if we step into exchange, the moment this exchange is being stopped, aka coronavirus, you cannot travel to one location, the location collapses. So if you're supporting the structure and this structure can continuously support you, this system doesn't collapse. If you're going into small exchanges one by one, this system collapses very easily as soon as this is cut for any type of reason, right? So the idea of the financial plan is that, and this can be evolved, right? But this is what is right now. Each one of us, both nodes and nomads are supporting with a small amount financially the structure. As soon as, and supporting financially, it's important because we also need to be supported financially at some point. It's not only other types of resources, and it's important. But what happens is that the most important part is continuously adding diversity. So continuously adding people that we know and we really trust, it's super important, into the system so they can also get supported. The more people we add, we start automatically gaining the 50%, because it's a project that's supposed to be supporting anyhow, the 50% of what these people that we are adding in the system are paying to the system. So you automatically start getting resources as soon as you have enough people introduced into the system, right? This is, as the system becomes richer, it's more possible to support projects. So the moment it reaches a specific level of finances, it can automatically start supporting the startups of the people who are involved. So practically we are bringing everything that we have in one system that can support us back, right? And that's the idea until now. So it's literally, it's a very simple structure by now, because I'm not a finance person. I can just see how this could work, and I will be working it with people who are much more elaborate in finance that have been working on that. But the idea for now is as simple as that. There is a monthly subscription fee for everybody who enters. By the time you introduce more than 5 people into your system, you start gaining almost 2.5 times more of what you have inputted in the beginning of the month. And this is monthly, meaning this creates a stable flow back of finances, while at the same time it's giving you the network of people that can support you in what you're doing without having to pay them. So you're gaining financial support, but most importantly, you're gaining all the other resources of support that you need. And yes, the other resources will have to be worked more of how it flows correctly to which project, right? And this is the next step. Just, yeah, it's not all solved out, obviously. But these are the prototypes that we're going to be creating in the incubators to see how we solve these separate parts. But this is the overall idea. And I feel that it's a step that we can already start looking at and see how it feels and see how this can become better. So in the end, we have a system that we can start working on, you know, like we really need this grid to support.
Aliki, if you spare a little bit of time, I shared with you a presentation. The system you are looking for is there, because the system you're explaining, it comes from Africa, from the African tribes, where certain women, each week they were gathering together to support one household. So all the women of the tribes, they will come together this week, they will go to this house of that woman, they will help her with everything. Money, is it work, is it water, is it whatever it is. Then the next week is happening the same, the next week is happening the same. So ever since there has been created a system that is actually represented by the 4 elements, earth, water, fire and air, and each one has an ability, and it comes into circles. In the middle there is the water, which is the project that we want to support. And then as you go to the other elements, there are different tasks. So people can fall into these tasks. And in fact, I remember during lockdown, while you were in Pakistan, you have recorded yourself while you were in front of a dashboard and you were explaining these different capitals of people and, you know, what would be sustainable and important for any project to call not only financial capital, but intellectual capital or artistic capital or whatever, actually. In fact, I downloaded this video because I found it very valuable and I'm about to implement it on my current presentation. So we're talking about the same thing. The system is there. We just need to, let's say, modernize or I translate what the elements represent and how this element works. And also how, because you create a circle and this circle is about one project, and then this circle can split and then they can support other projects, and then this circle can split and they support other projects, and suddenly it's becoming like an endless endless circles actually, and structure of people that they fit into all these elements, tasks, capitals actually. So it's all about putting your idea and what I discovered, of this African tribal
Is it the one
system
you sent
together.
me, or is it the one you sent me, the system?
It is. It's quite in the end of the quite at the end of the presentation. Actually, it's kind of a long presentation. I know it takes a little bit of time, but we're finishing with the idea and the structure, because also me and my friend Sam, who we are working on this project together, we have been busting our minds to find out, what would be a sustainable system, not only for this project, but for any project.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming to the same conversation. So it's not a new thing. It's quite old thing. It's just, we find ways to translate the traditional way that they have been doing into a modern way, and just to open space for people to come in and fill the spaces by themselves, because it's not by putting people into places, but people seeing which is the best place for them and feeling the urge to fill that place. And that's the right place for them. And that's the right thing for the project, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, it has to be organic, as you say. Please, Christiana, go on.
I am terribly sorry, but I am late 2 minutes for my next. I did not know that we were going to go over. I don't want to break the beautiful, constructive talk, but I am suggesting that we make an agenda for half an hour for a next meeting. I want to progress with this group. And as you know me, I'm the person that does stuff. So, Aliki, I think that I am very, very thrilled that we've met. I also am proposing, I hear what people have to say, and I proposed a local village, not a global village, but a local village.
It's a global
yes, because
local village.
And of course, the inhabitants of, and this is bringing to get converging the people that in this group. So the local village is inhabited by the Meraki people, and Meraki is something that does not translate into English, and it's 4 things: the passion, the dexterity, the focus, and the commitment. So if we have those, then we are inhabitants of the local village. I am going to have to excuse myself. I need to get going. I don't like people waiting for me.
Me too.
But please write to me. I would like to meet with you and actualize steps. So this is the conclusion I have.
I think it's a very good time actually to close it, because you have all the information. Let's allow it to sink. And then maybe next week at some point towards the same, like Friday morning, for example, I set another call and we see where we are. I'm also going to be personally in a place that it can become a regenerative system, and I will have both a node and a nomad with me that I totally trust. So we will have like the real thing happening around me also. So it will be very interesting to talk to them also and see how it goes. And thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for putting us
I
together.
am very
Thank
for
you.
meeting each and every one of you. Thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aliki. Thank you, everybody in the call. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah.